This is an attempt to try to combine animations with what I've learned. So I'm going to import my BVHs. So I'm going to be combining my DJ animation, 7 animations that I've got. Bring them in at 100%, but bring in a second one. One of the things you do first off is see that they're not matched up. So with the second DJ one, he's too low. So I'll start a starting pose so his feet are on the floor. I'll bring the third one in. This is just because I've noticed this last time I did it. And the third one does the same thing for some reason. Who knows? You know, these that's just saying these BVH files are not always consistent, even though they're from the same place. But you got the power to fix them. Now I'm going to bring in the next 4 animations. They seem to be on the floor, so I'll import BVH 4. BVH 5. 5 BVH 6 and 7. What's interesting about this, again, there's inconsistencies with these animations, poser animations. And I got a bunch of them here, and if I played it, it's what you'd expect. It's chaos. All right. So one of the things you notice is not all of them start with a T-pose. Again, something that's inconsistent. Normally, that's a standard, but that doesn't mean this person that made these DJ animations kept to the standard for the first 3, but the 4 through 7 doesn't have a T-pose. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the T-poses. And the way I do that is let's go over to my animation tab. Animation tab's got 3 windows. It's got to have, I'm going to go ahead and set up this first upper left one to be the what's called the nonlinear animation, and doesn't really mean much right now. I can move him up. And this. So again, and I'll go bring that down. Let me move him to here. And yeah, there you go. Good enough to see. And I'll go ahead and expand my NLA window. And then move him over. And then get him out of there. So you can see all the animations basically now. I have to go ahead and delete some frames. And so what I'd use, I get into the dope sheet down here. This is where I start. And it's got this little thing that says only the selected bones. I'm not going to select bones because I'm not trying to move one thing at a time. I'm trying to mess with all of them. So if I go in here, I see DJ1, DJ2, DJ3. You'll see all the keyframes for all of them, and they're all stacked up on top of each other. But I'm going to go in here to the collection window here, and I'm going to turn off 3, 4, these last 4. So I've only got these, and so I'm seeing all 3 of these, but they're all in the T-pose to start with, and I don't want them in the T-pose. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so I can carefully select a given keyframe, and I'm going to go ahead and delete keyframe 1 from the first BVH. So you see him pop into the, delete it from the second BVH, and so I'm getting rid of that T-pose on each one of those 3 animations. Okay, they're gone. So now what I do, I'm going to select all those frames, do a G, and move them all so it starts in frame 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, shoot, I'm not right there. Is that frame 1? The problem with this is, no, they're in frame 2. So you move them all. Oh, shoot. Get them all selected. Grab them and move them over to frame 1. There you go. So now I'll turn the rest of them on. So now they're all starting in frame 1, and there is no T-pose at the beginning of frame 1 of all those animations. Now what we're going to do is combining the animations. And to combine the animations, there's a couple of different ways. And as I've discovered or worked on it, I found one that works best for me. And if I open these up, I just want to show what this is. This is the nonlinear animation editor. And that's basically the same keyframes are showing up here that are down here in my dope sheet. But I don't want to mess with keyframes. And these are as they are on the skeleton or the armatures for each one of these. Boom, boom, boom. I'm looking at 7 different armatures, and I want to put them all in the same armature. So basically, I want to have all the DJ animations on one armature instead of 7 different armatures. And the way you do that is, we'll go ahead again and get these up here. Well, first of all, you get out of the dope sheet and you say Action Editor. Boom. An Action Editor shows all the keyframes for all the animations, but we're going to use just the top part here to do something. I'm going to select DJ1, so I need to get into object mode here. Select DJ1, so he's on DJ1. Okay. Now what I do, so I'll open him up because I want all the animations to show under DJ1. So the way I do it right now is I go down here and I start with the lowest one first. So DJ7, I select that, and then you say push down, and you'll see what happens is it puts in DJ1, it puts this solid bar that's basically all the animations, and you don't see each keyframe because you work with it as a set of an animation strip, action strip they call it. You're not working with keyframes at this point, you're working with action strips. So then what I do here is I get the rest of them in there. So DJ6, push down. DJ5, push it down. DJ4, push it down. Yep. You get to see my workflow. DJ2, push it down, and DJ1, push it down. Boom. There you go. So there they are. 7 of them. Now these are still there, but I now have all the animations. Oh, no, I don't. Did I? Yeah, I must have. On the first armature. So, as action strips, I can get rid of the rest. I can get rid of those other armatures now. Delete. So I only see the armature DJ1, but it's now got all 7 animations as action strips on it. All right, there we go. Good job, Mike. And if I play it, it'll only, even though they're all sitting here, it goes from top to bottom. So it'll play DJ1, but it won't play these other ones because the top one has is in charge. So it just plays DJ1. So that's just the point here. So what you want to do is you want to move these out. So if you want to do this, and again, this is just the way I like doing it. There's a couple different ways to do this, but let's just say that I want, let's give myself 30 frames per second, half a second to go from one to the next. You just do that. And so you say that. And so now if I was to play it, it's going to look really weird here. It's going to play DJ1, then it's going to swap down to DJ3 for a second, boop, and then it's going to DJ2. So what I want to do here is I want to click the first DJ1, click the shift, DJ2, come up here and say add transition, and that will add a basic interpolation between them. So now if I go back and I play it, I'm going to go from DJ1, go through a transition into DJ2, and that's it. So I'm going to do the same thing with a 15 frame animation, or 15 frame transition for all of them. So I'll move DJ3 up here and get it. Problem, these black bars are hard to see. And move him, you know, whatever. What is it, 284? Somewhere like this. Close enough. Click this, say add a transition. You get a lot of power this way too. I want to bring him over and up. I wish that or they were some other color than black. But let's see, where did this end at? About 245, so let's move around 460. And click those two and say add transition. All right, let's see where we're going here with this. And move him up here. I'm just going to get them all up there, or at least all close. I don't have to keep scrubbing back and forth. I'll get them up here and we'll scoot them over here in a sec. All right. So this is at 602, so I want to get them about 15 frames apart. Come on, Mike. Let's get it over here. So he's at about 608, so this would be 623. And click this one and say transition. Say add transition, sorry. I've done this a little bit now, so I'm getting pretty used to the workflow. Bring him over. Again, this is all fiddly. As all animation stuff tends to be, or Blender from my perspective tends to be fiddly. So this ended up in 770, so this should be what, 785. Click add transition. There we go. And then 7. Move him over. And get in there real close. And move him over. Come on. That's what I love about this thing. All right. So this ended at about 932. So we'll say 47. Do that. And say transition. Nope, say add transition. And there we go. So if I was to play this now, and I will. I've got transitions between all of them, so if I scoot to the back, move him up here, and play, he will transition from one to the next. And as he plays, I'll drink. Well, see that jump there? What happened? Well, my timeline still says it's 950 is the end, and the end is more than that right now, so. Where is the end of this animation? The end of the animation's about, 1095, so. So if I was to play now, it would go ahead and play all the way through and go from transition to transition. And if let's sync this one up so I can see the timeline scrubbing through at the top. It's going from transition to animation to animation using those transitions, all up on the same track. Now you're stuck with, well, how do everything works fine here, but I want to loop this animation. And that last, when I finish that track 7, as you'll see here, and jump back to track 1, there's no transition. And it just jumps and looks bad. Pow! See that? So we don't want that. So what do? Well, what we do is we go in here, and I, again, try to get this over here. I guess I clicked this one maybe, no? Oh, hell with it. I go ahead and I duplicate it. I move him over to the end of this. What did he end up at? 1095? I believe he did, yes. Again, so I'll move him at 1110, 1095. Is that where we decided he ended? 1095. So this should be 1110. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. There you go. And I'm going to make a transition. Just like I did before. Add a transition. But what's different about this is now I'm going to set the end to be 1110. Right? 1110. 1110. So if I set this to 1110, 1110. Now I'm just going to go to the back end here. That it's going to go play it, transition, does a nice job. And then he's going to run the transition back to frame 1, and there we go. So there we've got it. So that is good. So now I've got a working animation. Now I've got to save it. And the way you save it, we'll see if I can do this again, is I've got to bake it. So I will select DJ1, and I will F3, bake animation. I type, this is a, you find whatever you want. So I say bake animation, bunch of options. I just use these two. And I make it pose, and I say okay. And it's baked it into the actual pose thing here. Save. So now the pose has got all the frames. So I will export that. I think we're good. To an FBX. I'll look in the animation options, and I just want the baked animation to save, not all this other junk. So I will export it, and I'll export it to, I'll call it new DJ combined, whatever. I got a lot of different names here. Done it a couple of times, but I wanted to document it so next time I try it, I'll know how to do it. So I say export, it's exported it. I'll go file new, just to see it worked. Watch it not work. All right, import it. That one I just created. I need FBX. What was it called? Oh, I said import BVH. Import FBX. There he is. And you see all the frames are there. So I have now successfully baked an animation with all the DJ animations. So now where would I go from here? Well, from here, you've already seen the video that now I've got one nice. Well, I got to go set this to, what was it, 11:10. So the I would go in and do the one where I showed how to get it back onto into the RPM character. I'm not going to go repeat that here. Okay, just wanted to record that. If you've watched this, you probably got better things to do. But at least I've got this that I can go back to do it again if I need to.